Do you remember we learned the questions in the previous videos? And can you recognize the question words in these questions? Question word is very important to every language. It is a key to open the door of knowledge. If you know how to ask, you may find the answer. In the same way, when learning a new language, it is better to master the question words first. Question words can broaden your vocabulary and strengthen your confidence to have conversation with the native speaker. In this video, we will learn the basic question words in Cantonese. The first one I would like to introduce is what. In written Chinese, we say
什麼什麼
In Cantonese, we say
乜嘢乜嘢
You can see this question word is placed at the end of the question. See the following example.
你依家做緊乜嘢啊？你依家做緊乜嘢啊？
When answering this question, you can replace the question word
乜嘢？
by the answer.
我依家睇緊報紙。我依家睇緊報紙。
However, in some situations,
乜嘢？
can be placed at the front of the question. For example,
乜嘢叫做量化寬鬆啊？乜嘢叫做量化寬鬆啊？
it is a typical question to ask the definition of something. If someone calls your name and asks you a favor, you can simply reply,
乜嘢啊？
It means what's up. So how to ask your new friend phone number or Facebook contact? You can use
乜嘢啊？
to ask a lot of simple questions. It may not be polite enough to ask others' personal contact in this way, but it is a good trial if you can do it. Give you few seconds to think how to ask. What is your phone number? You can ask,
你嘅電話號碼係乜嘢啊？你嘅電話號碼係乜嘢啊？
and what is your Facebook name? You can ask,
你嘅 Facebook name 係乜嘢啊？你嘅 Facebook name 係乜嘢啊？
The next two question words are what time and when. What time? In written Chinese, we say
什麼時候？
or.
幾點？
In Cantonese, we say
幾多點？幾點鐘？
or.
幾點？
When. In written Chinese, we say
什麼時候？
or.
何時？
In Cantonese, we say
幾時？幾時？幾多點？幾點鐘？
or.
幾點？
is used to ask the time and which hour.
幾時？
Is more general. It can be used to ask the time, which hour, which date and etc. This question word is normally placed just after the subject and before the verb. Give you some examples.
依家幾多點啊？依家幾多點啊？依家3點鐘。依家3點鐘。你幾點鐘返學啊？你幾點鐘返學啊？我朝早8點返學。我朝早8點返學。你幾時出發去美國啊？你幾時出發去美國啊？下星期。下星期。呢個星期五。呢個星期五。下個月。下個月。26號。26號。
How to form a question when will you go to lunch in Cantonese? You can ask,
你幾時去食晏啊？你幾時去食晏啊？
In this section we will discuss the question word where. Where. In written Chinese, we say,
哪裏？哪裏？
in Cantonese, we say,
邊度？邊度？
this question word is normally placed at the end of the question, but sometimes it can be put at the front of the question. Please read the following examples.
呢度係邊度嚟㗎？呢度係邊度嚟㗎？
The situation is I know it is an office, but don't know whose.
呢度係我嘅辦公室嚟㗎。呢度係我嘅辦公室嚟㗎。
你依家喺邊度啊？你依家喺邊度啊？
The situation is I am asking someone over the phone.
我依家喺學校。我依家喺學校。
The verb is omitted in both question and answer. Please don't mix up
係
and
喺係
means yes or verb to be, while
喺
is a preposition at, on or in. Please see the following examples. The question word is at the front of the question.
邊度係你嘅辦公室啊？邊度係你嘅辦公室啊？
The situation is I and someone are walking along a corridor.
一直走，左轉，第一間房就係我嘅辦公室啦。一直走，左轉，第一間房就係我嘅辦公室啦。
We can put the question word at the end in this case.
你嘅辦公室喺邊度啊？你嘅辦公室喺邊度啊？
Like the example of
乜嘢係量化寬鬆啊？
in the what section. If the question word is placed at the front of question, or I can say it acts as the subject, the speaker would like to emphasize the question word, so
乜嘢係
implies emphasizing the definition of something. And here if the question word
邊度係
at the front implies the importance of the location comparatively. By the way, when we look back the question,
呢度係邊度嚟㗎？
can we change the question to
邊度係呢度嚟㗎？
no, absolutely cannot, for it doesn't make sense. Let's look into the grammar.
呢度係邊度嚟㗎？
It is subject, verb to be and complement structure. The question word is at complement position. Let's see another question.
邊度係你嘅辦公室啊？
This sentence structure is the same as the previous one, but the question word is at subject position. If we swap
呢度
and
邊度？
in the first question,
邊度係呢度嚟㗎？
the sentence structure remains the same. The question word is at subject's position, but the complement is a demonstrative pronoun. It is quite weird in Cantonese. The function of a complement is to complete the meaning of a given expression. If subject is a question word, and the speaker would like to know the location of a place, the complement cannot be a demonstrative pronoun. It must be a definite place. In this section we will discuss the question words which, who and whose. Which. In written Chinese, we say.
哪一個？哪一個？
In Cantonese, we say.
邊一個？邊一個？
For example.
你揀邊一個啊？你揀邊一個啊？
The situation is there are at least two options, and someone asks you which one you want or prefer.
我揀呢一個。我揀呢一個。我揀咗邊嗰個。我揀咗邊嗰個。
你估邊一隊會贏？你估邊一隊會贏？
The situation is there is a match, and someone asks you which team you think will win.
我估曼聯會贏。我估曼聯會贏。
See more examples.
你隻狗係邊一隻啊？你隻狗係邊一隻啊？
大嗰隻。大嗰隻。白色嗰隻。白色嗰隻。
你本書係邊一本啊？你本書係邊一本啊？
最後嗰本。最後嗰本。藍色封面嗰本。藍色封面嗰本。
We can also put the question word at the front of the question.
邊一隻狗係你隻狗啊？邊一隻狗係你隻狗啊？邊一本書係你本書啊？邊一本書係你本書啊？
This format is quite tedious, so we can shorten them to the following questions.
邊一隻狗係你㗎？邊一隻狗係你㗎？邊一本書係你㗎？邊一本書係你㗎？
Who? In written Chinese, we say.
誰？誰？
In Cantonese, we say.
邊個？邊個？
Or a more polite ways.
邊位？邊位？
For example.
嗰個人係邊個啊？嗰一個人係邊個嚟㗎？佢係邊個啊？佢係邊個嚟㗎？
佢就係呢間大學嘅校長。佢就係呢間大學嘅校長。
陳大文係邊個啊？陳大文係邊個啊？
We can also put the question word at the front of the question, if the complement is a definite person.
邊個係陳大文啊？邊個係陳大文啊？戴眼鏡嗰個女仔係邊個啊？戴眼鏡嗰個女仔係邊個啊？
This question word of the question cannot be put at the front, unless in particular situation. The situation is like that someone tells you a lady with glasses is looking for you. When you come out from a room to look for that lady, you find there are a lot of ladies with glasses outside the room. Then you go back and ask the person who tells you a lady looking for you. In this situation, the word order is a bit different and
邊個？
doesn't mean who, but means which.
邊個係嗰個戴眼鏡嘅女仔啊？邊個係嗰個戴眼鏡嘅女仔啊？
If asking people
邊位？
with a wrong tone, it may cause misunderstanding.
你係邊個啊？你係邊位啊？你係邊個嚟㗎？你係邊位嚟㗎？
They are common questions asking who you are. For example, a staff asking guests taking attendance in a counter. If asking
你邊位啊？
with a impolite tone like this.
你邊位啊？
Besides who you are, it can also mean at which level you are. We are not at the same level, or I don't know you, and I look down on you. So it is better not to use this 4-character phrase. Whose? In written Chinese, we say.
誰的？誰的？
In Cantonese, we say.
邊個嘅？邊個嘅？
A more polite expression is.
邊位嘅？邊位嘅？
For example.
呢支係邊個嘅筆啊？呢支係邊個嘅筆啊？ 呢個係邊個嘅銀包啊？呢個係邊個嘅銀包啊？
A more common expression, we say,
呢個銀包係屬於邊個㗎？呢個銀包係屬於邊個㗎？
or simply,
呢個銀包係邊個㗎？呢個銀包係邊個㗎？呢個銀包係我㗎。呢個銀包係我㗎。
We will discuss the question words why and how in this section. Why? In written Chinese, we say,
為什麼？為什麼？為何？為何？
in Cantonese, we say,
點解？點解？
for example,
點解你開冷氣機啊？點解你開冷氣機啊？因為我覺得好熱，所以咪開冷氣咯。因為我覺得好熱，所以咪開冷氣咯。
This question word is usually put at the front of the question. Actually, we don't need to repeat the question and the answer, so normally we omit the part of.
所以咪開冷氣咯。
The conjunction pair
因為、所以、
is similar to another pair
雖然、但係。
I introduced in another video. In Chinese, if we want to speak a complete sentence of reason and cause, we need to say both conjunctions
因為、
and
所以。
how. In written Chinese, we say,
怎樣？怎樣？
in Cantonese, we say,
點樣？點樣？
for example,
你點樣計呢條數學題呀？你點樣計呢條數學題呀？你知唔知道 horse 嘅廣東話點樣講啊？你知唔知道 horse 嘅廣東話點樣講啊？我知，馬。我知，馬。
Other than the single word how, there are a lot of question words with how. How much? How many? In written Chinese, we say,
多少？多少？
in Cantonese, we say,
幾多？幾多？
for example,
呢個幾多錢啊？呢個幾多錢啊？呢件 T 恤幾多錢啊？呢件 T 恤幾多錢啊？你買咗幾多盒朱古力啊？你買咗幾多盒朱古力啊？
how large? How small? In written Chinese, we say,
多大？多大？多少？多少？
in Cantonese, we say,
幾大？幾大？幾細？幾細？
for example,
你想買幾大嘅電視機啊？你想買幾大嘅電視機啊？我想要一部至少有50吋嘅 LCD 電視。我想要一部至少有50吋嘅 LCD 電視。
how old? In written Chinese, we say,
多大？多大？多少歲？多少歲？
in Cantonese, we say,
幾大？幾大？幾多歲？幾多歲？
for example,
你幾多歲呀？你幾多歲呀？你爺爺幾多歲呀？你爺爺幾多歲呀？
how long? In written Chinese, we say,
多久？多久？
in Cantonese, we say,
幾耐？幾耐？
For example,
搭火車由香港到北京要幾耐呀？搭火車由香港到北京要幾耐時間啊？
how long? In written Chinese, we say.
多長？多長？
In Cantonese, we say.
幾長？幾長？
For example,
一個標準游泳池有幾長啊？一個標準游泳池有幾長啊？
if you want to specify the unit of the length, the question becomes.
一個標準游泳池有幾多米長啊？一個標準游泳池有幾多米長啊？
In the previous sections, we talked about the question words and discuss how to ask open questions. In this section, we will discuss closed questions. Do you have? In written Chinese, we say.
你有沒有？你有沒有？
In Cantonese, we say.
你有冇？你有冇？
For example,
你有冇 iPad 啊？你有冇 iPad 啊？有啊，有啊。冇啊，冇啊。
do you need or do you want? In written Chinese, we say.
你需要沒有？你需要沒有？
In Cantonese, we say.
你要唔要？你要唔要？你想唔想？你想唔想？
For example,
你要唔要幫忙啊？你要唔要幫忙啊？好啊，唔該。好啊，唔該。唔使啦，多謝你關心。唔使啦，多謝你關心。你想唔想食雪糕？你想唔想食雪糕？我想食啊，我想食啊。我唔係好想食，多謝你。我唔係好想食，多謝你。
have you done? In written Chinese, we say.
你做了沒有？你做了沒有？
In Cantonese, we say.
你做咗未呀？你做晒未呀？你做完未呀？
For example,
你做咗功課未？你做咗功課未？仲未呀？仲未呀？梗係做晒啦，梗係做晒啦。你睇完本雜誌未呀？你睇完本雜誌未呀？睇完啦，睇完啦。仲未睇完啊，仲未睇完啊。
do you mind? In written Chinese, we say.
你是否介意？你是否介意？
In Cantonese, we say.
你介唔介意？你介唔介意？
For example,
你介唔介意我坐喺呢度啊？你介唔介意我坐喺呢度啊？唔介意，唔介意。唔好意思，呢度有人坐㗎。唔好意思，呢度有人坐㗎。唔係咁好啊。唔係咁好啊。
shows that you have difficulty to say the reason. At the same time, you can show it from your facial expression.
唔係咁好啊。
means it is not so good. At the end, you can add.
唔好意思，
after.
唔係咁好啊。
to express your apology. Are you? In written Chinese, we say.
你是不是？你是不是？你是否？你是否？
In Cantonese, we say.
你係唔係？ 你係唔係？你係咪？你係咪？
For example,
你係咪學生嚟㗎？你係咪學生嚟㗎？係啊，係啊。唔係啊，我係。唔係啊，我係。
will you? In written Chinese, we say,
你會不會？你會不會？你會否？你會否？
in Cantonese, we say,
你會唔會？你會唔會？
for example,
你會唔會去睇呢出戲啊？你會唔會去睇呢出戲啊？好啊，你係咪一齊去啊？好啊，你係咪一齊去啊？我唔去睇啦，我唔去睇啦。
can you? In written Chinese, we say,
你能不能？你能不能？你能否？你能否？
in Cantonese, we say,
你能唔能夠？你能唔能夠？
for example,
你能唔能夠喺4點前完成工作？你能唔能夠喺4點前完成工作？能夠，能夠，可以，可以，應該唔得啊，應該唔得啊，應該都可以嘅，應該都可以嘅。
may I? In written Chinese, we say,
我可不可以？我可不可以？我可否？我可否？
in Cantonese, we say,
我可唔可以？我可唔可以？
for example,
我可唔可以出去一陣啊？我可唔可以出去一陣啊？可以，可以，唔可以，唔可以。
should you? In written Chinese, we say,
你應否？你應否？
in Cantonese, we say,
你應唔應該？你應唔應該？
for example,
你應唔應該先問問你父母，然後至作最後決定呢？你應唔應該先問問你父母，然後至作最後決定呢？